You're listening to the Exponential Entrepreneur Podcast. This is the podcast for ambitious entrepreneurs who understand that exponential business growth isn't achieved through traditional business tactics alone, but through personal development, the ultimate leverage point to scale businesses beyond conventional limits. Hosted by Erica Ferenzi, featuring lessons from the Practical, Profitable Mindset program, created by R. John Robbins, Alejandra Leibovich, Erica, and Oscar Ferenzi. And here's your host, Erica Ferenzi.
Today's lesson is about how people move from struggle to abundance and why so many never do. It comes from a very powerful metaphor in Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. Life and money move like a river, and it flows in two directions. On one side of the river, we have the positive emotions like faith, desire, persistence, and intentional action. That side flows towards growth and wealth. On the other side, we have negative emotions, fear, judgment, complacency, which quietly pull people towards stagnation and poverty. The key insight is poverty requires no plan, but wealth actually does require a plan. Today's lesson will be taught by Alejandra Leibovich, who is the co-owner of How to Manage a Small Law Firm, a serial entrepreneur, an artist, and one of the 4 co-creators and facilitators of the Practical, Profitable Mindset program. Alejandra shares how is that years ago, her and Arjun were living paycheck to paycheck, confused about how other people make their money. And even as their business grew from a few $100s to thousands of dollars to $1 million, they believe they have all figured it out when in reality, they didn't. The truth is that growth doesn't happen when you operate from ego. It comes from humility and staying a student, never stopping the growth and the learning. Many people fail right after their first big win because they stop learning. They believe that they've arrived to this place, but the moment that you think that you know everything, you start drifting downstream back towards struggle. To prevent that, the lesson introduces a very powerful exercise. You will interview your past self, and I want to invite you to watch the episode to get all of the tips. Remember this, judgment, especially self-judgment, is a negative emotion that will pull you onto the wrong side of the river. Curiosity and neutrality will keep you moving upward. Remember as you hear the lesson what Alejandra says. Stay humble, stay curious, and choose which side of the river you want to be on, because your mindset will determine the direction that you and your business flows. Let's join Alejandra on this week's lesson.
Money is as shy and elusive as the old-time maiden. It must be wooed and won by methods not unlike those used by a determined lover in pursuit of a girl of his choice. And coincidental as it is, the power used in the wooing of money is not greatly different from that used in wooing a maiden, a man or a woman. That power, when successfully used in the pursuit of money, must be mixed with faith, and it must be mixed with desire, and it must be mixed with persistence. It must be applied through a plan, and that plan must be set in action. When money comes in quantities known as the big money, it flows to one who accumulates it as easily as water flows downhill. There exists a great unseen stream of power, which may be compared to a river, except that one side flows in one direction, carrying all who get into that side of the stream onward and upward to wealth, and the other side flows in the opposite direction, carrying all who are unfortunate enough to get into it and not able to extricate themselves from it, downward to misery and poverty. Every person who has accumulated a great fortune has recognized the existence of this stream of life. It consists of one thinking process. The positive emotions of thought form the side of that stream, the one that carries one to fortune. The negative emotion form the side which carries the down to poverty section. This carries a thought of stupendous importance to the person who is following this book with the object of accumulating a fortune. If you are in the side of the stream which leads to poverty, this may serve as an oar by which you may propel yourself over into the other side of the stream. But it can serve you only through application and use. Merely reading and passing judgment on it either way or in any way will not benefit you. Some people undergo the experience of alternating between the positive and the negative sides of the stream, this river, being at times on the positive side, going on stream to wealth upward, or going to the negative side, downward to poverty. Poverty and riches often change places. Poverty may, and generally does, voluntarily take the place of riches. When riches take the place of poverty, the change is usually brought about through well-conceived and carefully executed plans. Poverty, on the other hand, needs no plan. It needs no one to aid it because it's bold and ruthless. Riches are shy and timid. They have to be attracted. Anybody can wish with uppercase, can wish for riches, and most people do, but only a few know that a definite plan plus a burning desire for wealth are the only dependable means of accumulating wealth. In 2010, Arjun and I, we were pretty broke. Our business that year only grossed about $200,000. We were living in a cottage on the back of Arjun's parents' property. There were two. We were renting one. We had one bathroom, and we dreamed every day of having two bathrooms. We had a couple of part-time employees. We had just hired maid, somebody to help clean once a week, and we were thinking about having that person also cook. We were still driving. We had my Saturn. Still, there was the pickup truck with all the wheels that we were just thinking in really changing those tires, and we didn't even have the Mini yet. We were living pretty much paycheck to paycheck, and didn't really know how it was possible that other people could make so much money. We were trying to have a VIP day, I remember, and we were still making payments, and we could not come up with the full $14,000 that we needed. And we kept just pushing and pushing those days away. It was, we were not shopping organic. We were not, we didn't even think about traveling first class. We did not know and not use about car services. We were still calling taxis. It was very, very, very different, the life that we used to have. And we profoundly, we did not yet understand how to make money. We just knew that it was possible, that there were people, that there was this secret that was happening. And we read at that time Think and Grow Rich. And I remember that when we read about the river that flows in those two directions, we definitely knew that we were going downwards, but we did not know how how to how to move to that other side. It was just we didn't really know how it worked. We did make more than double than the year before that year, and we saw that things were a little bit changing, but we had no idea about any kind of system. We didn't understand how it was possible. That it was just, we kept talking and talking about it, and like, what, do you jump to the other side of this river? Do you ever see the river? Like, how can you see that path of going upwards? How is it possible that the riches can come and in such abundance? How the book was talking about, it was something that we got, and we kept reading the concept, but we just could not understand it. We could not wrap our heads around it. So then during that year, we had a 600,000 year, and then we finally grew the business to 1 million. And then we were still living in the same cottage, but we started to be confident that we had finally understood what Napoleon Hill was talking about in I read about the river. Then we grew the business to 5 million. And then we realized that we were so fucking naive. We were so naive that we thought that when we got to the business to 1 million, that we knew that we had understood it, that we got it. That, oh yeah, that we absolutely got it. We made 1 million, now we know everything. At 5 million, we realized, fuck, we didn't know shit. Like, we didn't know anything. We had no idea how anything worked, how to replicate it. We thought we had it, but at 5 million, it was very clear that we didn't have it, and that we were still not fully in that upstream. Then we grew the business to 10 million, 11. And we looked back at when we were at 5 million, and it was, again, it was like a joke. It was like, fuck, man, look how we were operating. Like, look at what we were thinking. Look at the people we were hiring. Like how much stuff we didn't know. And it was like a joke how we used to think then. And one of the reasons I'm pretty sure that we were able to grow the business so quickly from 10 million to 30 million is because, this is going to probably surprise you, is because we started telling ourselves that we did not have it all figured out, that we did not know what we didn't know. And we became humble. And we understood that we keep being students, that when we thought we had arrived, that if you keep it in the mindset that I arrive and I'm hot shit, you better treat people well on your way up, because you're going to have to see them on your way down too, right? And you are going to start sliding, and you are going to start going down. The assignment is to interview your past self. And that is what we did. And for the first time when we did it, it helped us to more than double our business in the following 6 months. And then we double our run rate in the next 6 months. We didn't change anything else. All we did the exercise. That run rate at that time doubled us from 4 million to 8 million in just like 6 months. And it was like magic. But the thing is that it's not magic. But it is a bit difficult to explain. And even if I explain it to you right now, and we spend a month answering all of the questions, you gotta do it to then understand how it works, and you will experience it for yourself. So what I remembered from the times when we were at 1 million and then at 5 million and then at 8 million is that we used to go to these many seminars. We were like half the months we were traveling and going to learn from all kinds of places and to do the work on the road. And we used to see people in a couple of groups that we were at, and we will see them every time that we will go to another workshop the next month or every couple months. And then suddenly they will stop showing up. And we were like, what the heck happened? So then we started calling them and like, why are you not here? Like, what happened? Why did you stop coming? Like, it's been like 2 workshops that you haven't shown up. Like, are you planning coming back? Like, did you get sick? Do you need anything? And they will say, no, I'm just, I dropped, like, I'm not going anymore because I think I learned everything that I had to learn. Now I got this stuff. Look, I just broke the $1 million. I just broke this other amount. And like, I don't know. I think I can be on my own and I can do this on my own and I know it. And like, I know what I need to do. I just need the time to do it. And I just need to focus on that. And then we started seeing where those businesses were and in what situation they will come back and how much they jumped into the other side of the river. And it was like suddenly all the stuff that they had built and that we knew how much work it took to build that, it was like completely down the toilet. And we understood that this lack of humbleness, this feeling we finally got at 10 million, that we had to be humble. And that when we thought we had arrived, we didn't know shit. That when we kept going and growing and we got to the next stage, all this stuff that we were thinking, how we were living, everything that was happening was like so tiny. And it was so, we wished that we could have talked to our future self. And we started at that time having a relationship with our future self and a relationship with our past self. And we started having conversations daily with them in asking for advice from our future selves and then talking to our past selves. What I would like you to do is to talk to your past self. I wanted to interview that person and I wanted to actually record yourself in your cell phone. I wanted to record those conversations. You don't have to play them. You don't have to do anything. Like, you don't have to show them to anybody. What is important is that you keep them. Feel free, like, to use what I'm going to tell you that I used to ask to whatever you want to ask. Ask them, what car were you driving at that time? Ask them, when you went to the supermarket, how did you choose what you wanted to buy? Did you choose the cheapest supermarket or did you choose the most expensive supermarket? Did you look at the price of when you went to a restaurant and how much the food was? Did you even look at the price of buying a flight that you needed to fly, that you needed to buy? How much money was important to you and you were making decisions from money? Those are the questions that I would ask myself. What was the first thing that I thought in the morning when I was with my previous self? And I would compare on how different is now what I think first thing in the morning and what I do in my morning routine to get my day started. So how was that the morning routine that you did? What did you think about before in that to that self? How did you approach hiring in your business? Did you hire who you needed? Did you think in paying more or less? How was that? How did you treat your employees? Did you give them benefits? Did you give them the benefit of the doubt? How was a day in your office during the beginning? What did you think about at lunchtime? Did you even have time to have lunch during those days? I want you to seriously have, for real, a real conversation with your past self and ask them all of those questions. And remember how it used to be at the beginning and record it. You will thank me for it if you record it. You don't have to play to anybody. Just trust me. Just record it. If you were not a business owner, just ask all of these same questions. Where you were at. Doesn't matter if you were, like if you had your own business, you did work in a business. And I want you to think about, how did you used to think? What went through your mind during those days? You woke up and what was the first thing in the morning that you thought about? What did you think in the office? What did you have, happy days, or it was very stressful? Now I'm going to start taking questions.
I have a tendency to minimize my accomplishments when I don't reach my expected goal. So even though I recognize that there's some growth there, it's like, how do you do this exercise without judging yourself? Because I'm finding myself already judging myself and I haven't even started writing anything yet. And how do you take credit for the things that you should take credit for when you have a tendency to minimize your accomplishments?
You have to put aside the need of getting anything from it. You're not going to get, like, the idea is not to get love, self-esteem, or security from doing this exercise. Okay? It is not. We're not, all it is to just find out information. Imagine that this is a case and that you have to depose or interview a witness. That witness happens to be you this many years ago. And all you're doing is trying to understand what happened. But you're not passing judgment on them. The only reason that you're passing judgment on this one is because you know that person. And I wanted to trust me on that just find out the info. And like, this is not, you have to manage you yourself on stopping yourself from judging that. Why? Because you need to just do it. Because I said so. Just do it. You will learn a lot on stop judging yourself in other situations too, which will also help your self-esteem. But all you're trying to do at the moment is you're doing research on a case. And the case was, what did she want in life? What was her outcome about in life? What was her car? What were the clothes?
Okay.
When she went to the supermarket, did she think, oh, I'm going to try to spend less? Or did she just go and buy what she wanted?
Mm-hmm.
How was it? The idea is to reminisce, like to remember how it used to be. And you're not allowed to pass judgment.
I'm a judgy bitch when it comes to myself. So I'm like, stop. Just stop. I'm having to stop myself.
How is that working?
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah. Okay.
So this is a good way to know, to have the experience of just remembering that without passing judgment. And when I mean without passing judgment, it's mainly negative judgment. Okay? Because you might discover that you actually could pass judgment that is positive, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's stay away from that. Let's just find out how it used to be. That's all.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool. You're welcome.
As we wrap up, here are the key takeaways from today's lesson. Number 1, wealth and growth are not accidental. They require intention. Poverty needs no plan, but success does. The side of the river that you're on will be shaped by your mindset, your emotions, and your daily actions. Second, humility is absolutely essential. Every new level will reveal how much is that you did not know before. And the moment you believe that you've arrived is the moment that your growth will stop. Third, judgment, especially self-judgment, pulls you backward. To move forward, you must replace criticism with curiosity, observation, and you know what? Sometimes even self-forgiveness. Fourth, your past deserves empathy, not blame. Interviewing your past self isn't about fixing or shaming. It's just about understanding how you thought, how you lived, and how you made decisions at that moment. And finally, staying a student is the real advantage. Those people who continue learning, questioning, and reflecting will always stay upwards on the side of the river. Choose your mindset carefully because it will determine the direction that you flow. And that is exactly what the Exponential Entrepreneur Podcast is for. And now it is your turn to take action. Stay healthy, stay hungry, stay focused, and we will see you at the next episode.
Thank you for listening to the Exponential Entrepreneur Podcast. We encourage you to take action on it today. Share what you've learned with another entrepreneur. Sign up for our newsletter to get bonus content you won't get anywhere else at exponentialentrepreneur.com and subscribe to the Exponential Entrepreneur Podcast to receive the next episode. Until next time, keep breaking through limiting beliefs and growing exponentially.